Hello, Steve White, Trickboy89 for Steve Arts89. I'm still trying to get myself together after watching the Star Trek musical episode, but it wasn't a musical episode. It was an episode of Star Trek where an anomaly made people sing. It didn't make any sense, broke my brain, just trying to recover. But a couple of things that were interesting about the episode that I wanted to mention and or maybe even compliment was the production design on Strange New Worlds is pretty good, and this episode was amazing. All the wide shots, because a lot of the singing, just the way they had to shoot the episode and the scenes, they spent a lot of time just sort of going around the characters, and they spent a lot of time really highlighting and emphasizing the backgrounds and the sets, and they look amazing, particularly the engineering set, the wide shots of that. They had probably the best picture of the Enterprise, image of the Enterprise so far. It was sitting near a phenomena, and you went from inside Lan's cabin through her window straight out, and you saw the whole of the ship, and it didn't cut away before the ship, fully broke the screen and everything like it did before. It looked amazing, and I just sort of wanted to acknowledge that and sort of compliment that, because it did look great, and I'm glad they did that. And it's kind of annoying that probably, I don't know what episode of Strange New Worlds is the worst. Last week's horrific pro-war cynical episode where they turned one of the crew into a murderer, or this nonsensical musical phenomena episode, which was the polar opposite that just clashed so close together. But visually it looked the best, and it's like, great, so I have to watch this episode to see the best shot of the Enterprise of the series and the best sort of view of all the sets and everything. It's really frustrating. But they did look great, and that's one of the things I like about this show, is that the production values are reasonably high, and the production, the design of the sets, they've tried to get the sort of the spirit of the original show and some of the colours of the original show, and they've found a way to sort of contrast the colour with the other sort of technological and mechanical sort of elements of the set design and the equipment and everything, and it does look good, and I'm glad with that. And some of the other things about the episode were some of they only sung when they had emotional issues that would motivate it. And Lan, for example, she's one of those characters who I didn't like, and I'm liking better because they are exploring her and making her more real. Before she was just, the hard, cold security officer, and it just didn't work, and now we sort of understand why she's got issues, and they did get into that, and she has done a better job of acting through that. And one of the issues with Kirk, she finally, and this was, of course, a breaching, really, of temporal everything, where she told him that in another time she'd met a different version of him, and that she had loved how he saw her differently in that time, which was mostly due to where they were, not so much him. And he just actually asked, am I like him? She said no and yes, but she likes how he sees her and how they so relate and everything. But then he's like, I'm actually involved, on and off, but I'm involved at the moment. It's on at the moment because Carol Marcus, who of course we know from Star Trek II: The Wrath of Khan and Star Trek Into Darkness in the other timeline, is pregnant with David. Now, this kind of makes sense because, I just checked Memory Alpha, and it does look like she was pregnant with him around 2258 or 2259, because it suggests he was born 2259 or 2260. And this should, in theory, because it should have started 7 years before the original, which was 65, so it would have been 58, so a year later it would be around, 57 would have been, it's kind of fits. And he died in 2285, so that would have made him like 26, 27, so it kind of works. But the fact they've included that it kind of fits but doesn't quite fit, I think it's a little bit off but pretty close. It sort of feeds into the whole alternative universe and the different, the fact it's a reboot and everything. And we get another reminder of that, where we see, of course, the female Asian version of what should have been Gary Mitchell. They haven't actually said that is like, a a race swapped and sex changed Gary Mitchell or not. Is it just coincidence that she has that name? But I got a reminder of that character exists. But it was just nice to sort of see Carol and, David included and part of that. So I thought that was interesting as well. There's a few things they did in the episode that were interesting. And visually it looked amazing. And I just sort of want to talk about those couple of things for a moment because I didn't really get into them in my review because I didn't want it to be 10 minutes long, and now I've just done 2 videos which are both 5 minutes long, so I may as well have just done a 10-minute review, included it all. But whatever, I get to use a different thumbnail of the Enterprise, which I love. So I'm going to go. Feel free to share, like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you think. I don't know what they're going to do for the next episode, and I kind of feel like they jumped the shark with this episode. And yeah, I don't know what else to make of the series and where it's going to go after the musical phenomena disaster.